Hi, it's Pavel with another C Sharp homework, and we will be calculating a salary of three employees. This is from a book, exercise from books C Sharp 2012, How to Program, Chapter 5, Exercise 20. And we will develop a C Sharp app that determines the gross pay for each of three employees. Company pays straight time for the first 40 hours and of course then overtime for everything over 40 hours. We will be given a list of three employees with the hours that each employee worked and their hourly rate. And then our app should input this information for each employee and then determine and display the employee's pay. And we will simply use the console ReadLine to input the data. All right, so let's get going, and we will start with the new class. Let's call it salary employee. Well, not really salary employee. This class will calculate the actual uh, salary, so let's call it calculator. Now we will need a few variables, of course. Let's make them private. The first one will be the employee name. Uh, employee name. The second one is going to be its pay. Oh, not his pay or her. Employee pay. It's gonna be a double, and we will need actually double of how many hours the employee worked. So it's hours worked. Employee can work, of course, like zero point 0.5 hours, like 39.5. So that's why we have to make it a double. Now the um, regular time is 40 hours, so we can actually make that instead of using 40 throughout the app, like the number 40, like some kind of a magic number. We can actually declare it as a constant. So constant integer regular time equals 40, and the same with the overtime constant, but the third one will be double because it's 1.5 double OT overtime equals 1.5. It could also be decimal, but double's fine. And do we need anything else? I don't think so. Well, we'll see. We'll see later. Let's do the constructor. Public salary calculator, and we will have to pass these three arguments into the constructor. So it's going to be string name double pay double hours. Now we could simply assign employee name equals name, employee pay equals pay. I like to use properties, so I'll declare some properties. Public string employee name get and set. It will be automatic property. Public double employee pay get and set, and public double hours worked get and set. And you know what? We actually don't even need these since I made them as properties. Uh, we don't need the private variables. That's my bad. Like originally, I thought maybe I would do this: employee name equals name. In other words, I would match this variable with this variable, but instead, I'm going to match the public properties to these arguments. So employee name equals name. So I can delete these and employee pay equals pay, employee and hours worked equals hours. Now these are automatic property. They shouldn't be. You should probably check to make sure that the input is correct. You should sanitize the input every time. But in this case, the exercise is about the how to create a class and how to interact with it uh, and perform some calculations within it. So I'm not going to bother with input checking. I'll assume the input is correct. All right, so now let's do the calculation. So the public method that will return the pay. So it will be a double calculate pay, and what we need is we need the actual. So if we have to figure out if the hours worked is less than 40, actually less than equal 40. This is a regular time, so there is no overtime paid. So if this is the case, then we will return uh, the hours worked times employee pay. It's a straight pay. Uh, Simply return the multiplication of how many hours the employee worked by, times his regular pay. Now, if it's greater than 40, then we will need to calculate the overtime and add it to the pay. So that's gonna be the hours worked. Uh, well, it's gonna be the regular time, which is 40. In fact, this shouldn't be 40. I did the constant, so I don't have to use the numbers. So regular time is 40. So if employee worked more than 40 hours, more than regular time, then we will still do the hours worked times employee pay, plus we will need to calculate the overtime pay, which is going to be the OT times regular time minus 40. Actually, not regular time, but hours worked minus regular time. In other words, this will give us how many hours over 40 are being worked. We multiply times 1.5, and at the end we will multiply that by the employee pay. Now it looks a little complicated, but it's actually not. It's this calculates the regular hours worked. Actually, this must be let me see. You know what? Let me do it. Let me do it differently. This is I'm getting confused myself now. Okay, so let's the regular time times employee pay In other words, that's 40 times employee pay. That will give us the pay for the 40 hours plus, and now we will calculate the overtime. So that's hours worked minus regular time, and this we will multiply by employee pay times OT. So this will give us the pay for the regular time for the first 40 hours, and this will give us the pay for the time over 40 hours. We multiply it by OT, which is 1.5. All right, I think that's correct. Let me see again. Hours worked minus regular times, that will give us the difference between 40 hours and the actual hours worked. And employee pay times OT, which is times 1.5, is the overtime rate, and we will multiply it with the overtime hours. So that should be okay. Now, I like to do, not all the time, but sometimes I do the string for each object, and not overtime string, override string. How does it go? String to string, and we'll return string dot format, and we'll return the formatted output, which is going to be the employee name. That will be the first placeholder. Let's do a new line. After that, it's going to be the employee hourly pay. That's going to be the second placeholder. It's going to be a currency because it's a pay. It's going to be in dollars. Do a new line. Employee hours worked. Another placeholder. That's going to be just a number. New line, and it's going to be the employee. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see, how do I break it so we can see it? Oh, it's over here. It's going to be the employee pay, total pay, and that's going to be a currency. And over here, we will pass the our arguments, variables into this. Actually, so it's going to be employee name will be the first one. The second one was how many hours worked, so it's hours worked. The third one was what was it? Name. Hourly pay is actually second, so that's going to be employee pay, hours worked, and finally the fourth one is going to be the total, which we calculated over here. So we have to call the calculate pay method. So basically what this does is formats the output. It outputs the employee name, then employee hourly pay. These are all properties. You have an employee hours worked, that's another property. And then it goes to the total pay, and it calls the function or the method and calculates the pay and outputs it. So that's all. Now let's do this. Let's create the objects. We have a name, pay, and hours. So we need that. We need string name double pay double hours. Correct? Yeah, these three. All right, and now we need the assignment calls for creation of 3 employees and get all these values via ReadLine. So it's not going to be like me hard coding it. User will be actually entering this information. So let's create employee, the salary calculator object. Let's just call him employee. Equals new. You know what? Let's make them. Let's make them an array and put all 3 of them in there. So for integer I equals 2, I is less, not 2, of course equals 0, but it's less than 3, I plus plus. Oh, I forgot the semicolon here. I plus plus. Let's create the object, the first one. So it's going to be employee equals. All right, you know what? This will equals new salary calculator. Okay, yes, let's make an array. So we will create an array. Actually, new salary calculator 3. So this will create an array of employees of salary calculator. Basically, I should have called it employee. I don't know why I called it something else. But it doesn't matter what you call it, really. Well, it does, but not in this instance. So we'll create the array with 3 elements, with 3 employees. And now for each employee, we will enter his name, pay, and hours. So console.WriteLine, please enter employee name, and that will be caught in name. So name will equals console.readline. Now we will get the pay, the employee pay, ReadLine. Please enter employee pay. But in this case, we'll have to convert it from string, so pay to double. So pay will equal convert to integer 32. Console.readline. And finally, we will get the please enter employee hours. So this is how many hours the employee worked. So hours equals, yes, console.WriteLine. Actually, I have to convert it first. Again, convert that to integer not integer. I did it wrong over there too. It's supposed to be double. The read line. Over here it's supposed to be converted to double because pay is a double. So now we capture that. Now we'll pass it to the employee, to the first one. So employee I equals new salary calculator, and we will pass the name, pay, and hours. So over here we create an empty array that will hold the objects of salary calculator. There are 3 objects. We will loop and get the input from the user, the name, pay, and hours. Then we will create the object, the actual object of I. In first iteration it will be employee 0 will equal new salary calculator with this name, this pay, this hour. Then it will go to another iteration. It will ask for the same information, but it will create employee 1. And then it will go the last time and create employee 3. And all 3 of these employees will be held in this array. So we got the objects. Now we can simply print the output. And the output will be printed simply console.ReadLine, and we will output the employee 0 first, then the first one, employee first, ReadLine, employee 2. So this is actually employee 1, 2, and 3, but it's 0 based, so it starts at 0. So this is the array 0, this is the array 1, array 2. And it will call the toString method, which is this one, which will actually output the formatted output, including the pay. So at least that's the plan, but let me do the console.readLine so we can read the output, and let's test it. Alright, let's enter employee name. That will be my name. I get a lot of money. I get $1,000. Nah, let's just make it $100 an hour. That's plenty. How many hours did I work? Let me give me some overtime. Let's say if I work 45 hours. Now the next employee will be Peter. He will only get $50 an hour. And let's say he works 40 hours, so he does not get any overtime. And last will be, let's say, Daniel, and his pay is only $10 per thing, and he worked 60 hours to make the enough money. He has to work a lot of overtime. So what do we get? All right, we get employee name Powell. Hourly pay is 100. I work 45 hours. So I work 5 hours extra. So 5 times 1.5 times 100 is 750 plus 4,000 for my base pay equals 4,750. So that's correct. Now Peter, he gets $50. He worked $40, so there's no overtime. So it's 50 times 40, which is 2,000. That's correct. Daniel, he gets paid $10, and he works 60 hours. In other words, he worked 20 hours overtime times 1.5 times 10. So he got a $400 base pay, which is 40 times 10, which is 400, plus the overtime pay 300 makes it 700. So it seems to be working. So let's recap. We created an object. I named it bad. That's just, I don't know why I made it salary calculator. I should have named it employee. I mean, we calculate the pay, so but whatever. The name is not so important. I created two constants: overtime pay and regular time. Otherwise, I would have to use over here, 1.5 or 40. It's like those magic numbers. I prefer to use actual constants because they can be easily changed. Oh, shut up, cat. Go somewhere else. I'm making a video. Go, go. So we created the constructor, which will get the name, the pay, and hours worked, and we will pass those to our what do you call them again? For properties. Okay, a little brain fart. So we'll pass them to our public properties. Then we will calculate the pay. We will base it on how many hours were worked. If they were less or equal to 40, which is the regular time, then we will simply calculate the hours that were worked times the employee pay. If they were greater than 40, then we will calculate the overtime pay over here, and we'll add it to the regular pay for the first 40 hours. We have a toString method that will output a formatted uh, output of employee name, employee pay, employee hours, and the total pay, which the total pay is simply the method call to calc pay method. Now, after we created the class, we needed to get the input from the user. So we declared some variables, name, pay, and hours. And we also stored each employee in an array of employees. Now, in this case, it's only 3, but you could, of course, change it. But you would have to change the loop as well. Now, after we declare, we have the object stored in the array. We loop through the array and add the values. The values are provided by the user. We get the name, we get the pay, we get the hours, and then each employee 0, employee 1, and employee 2, is created as a new object. We call the constructor and pass those arguments that the user supplied. So now, after the loop is complete, we have an array of employees with actual values being held in it. So we can simply call the ReadLine. Each element of the array is being displayed. It simply calls the toString method that outputs the formatted output, including the final pay for each employee. I hope it makes sense. I hope it helped you. I hope it didn't confuse you more. If it did, just study it a little more, type it yourself, and see. You can maybe go debug it step by step to see what's happening there. And I'm sure you'll get it in no time. So I hope it helped you, and I will see you next time. Take care.